Hi everyone, I'm Joshua, a current year 2 student at SFT, and I'm studying fashion design as my major. I'm also the founder of our first student association, Stitch, and I'm also the vice president of Global Volunteer at Isaac and Poly U, and also the current presidential student leadership awardee. For our student association, we found that SFT lacked a lot of student engagement and also bonding activities for freshman students who are just entering SFT, which caused for us, especially my freshman year, to not have a lot of moments to really bond with students apart from maybe group projects or other assignments. So we found a Stitch to really help this problem and also give students, and specifically freshmen, to have more chances to learn each other's culture, learn each other's backgrounds, and also just to bond at an earlier stage before going into their academics. So this year we did organize an O Day for students of all different backgrounds and different countries, to not really segregate anyone, but actually to include everyone into the mix and really make them learn about each other, and also just have an earlier bonding stage before they really enter university. And also we wanted to help our SFT students to really integrate with different years. So not only did we try to invite year ones, but also year 2, year 3s, to really maybe shorten the gap between each year and to really make everyone bond and also really integrate into our SFT friendly family kind of culture. I think for me, for us starting our first student association at SFT, the biggest challenge was finding that common ground with students when knowing what they really want from our student association. So a lot of students maybe wanted networking events or other maybe professional touch points, but as student associations, as students, it's kind of a bit more difficult to really get in touch with those network industry people. So instead we focus more on grounded stuff like student engagement and bonding instead. I also think another challenge would be because SFTSA is a very new, and also it just started after SFT being established for around 3 years. So a lot of things had to be started from scratch. We didn't have a lot of predecessor support from our maybe IT CSS. So it came down to only us being able to formulate something that could work for the current SFT landscape. So I think that starting everything from new and starting from scratch was a very difficult thing. But I'm happy to see that we still managed at the end to create an O Day for students to join, especially freshmen who always came up to me and told me, oh, I really appreciated the O Day. And I got to know my friend group from it. And I think that really warmed my heart and really saw that SFTSA had hope. But I think throughout this year, we've been very busy with academics, so not a lot of stuff has been really fulfilled yet. I'm still happy that we still had our O Day, and I hope that our successors later on in the later years could continue the message of SFTSA and to really bridge the gaps between students and stitch students together. I think for me receiving this award, it was based off of my ambition, resilience, and also persistence within all of my leadership roles here at Poly U and also specifically SFT. So, of course, taking on the role as president of the first student association for SFT was very challenging. However, we did conquer through and also just planned the first O Day for students. And also apart from, SFT related roles, I also took on the role as vice president of Global Volunteer at Isaac and Poly U, where I was able to branch out of the fashion sphere and actually think more in a global citizen way, where I could lead youths at Poly U to go on global volunteer excursions and to really think about the world based on the UN SDGs and go on different projects to learn about the UN SDGs. So I'm very proud to see over 50 students during my term going on global volunteer exchange to really learn about the world, and for me to lead this sort of movement within Poly U. I think also under my scholarship for the Jockey Club charities, I was able to go on the Oxford Character Project, where for around 11 days I was able to learn more about leadership development from a more global perspective under the University of Oxford. So I got to meet a lot of industry professionals and also network with them about leadership and also how to be a leader in the modern age. And I'm very glad to have learned about this right before I started my SFTSA, movement, and also being vice president of Global Volunteer at Isaac and Poly U. So I think that being a leader, you have to be ambitious, curious, resilient, and also persistent. And I think I did embody this to an extent, so I hope I can, continue embodying this in my later roles at SFT or even beyond. So I think what makes a good leader in the fashion industry has to be empathy, because I think For, of course, the wearer, you have to think of like how would they feel about about them wearing your clothes, and also how the user friendliness will be for the clothing. I think that whenever I'm also designing my different like clothing and also different accessories, I always think about like empathy mapping and also thinking for the customer, and not just thinking for myself and also my grand idea for high fashion or any sort of fashion. So I think that empathy is a key skill. I also think just one of my idols, YSL, he was a pioneer in sort of being empathetic to women, and also, you know, thinking for the women, like for the women that he would dress, and thinking about how they would like move around his clothing and also being comfortable in it. And within all my designs, I always like prioritize him as one of my biggest inspirations. I think also not just empathy to people, but also empathy to the environment. So how as fashion leaders we can prioritize CSR, corporate social responsibility, within all of our designs and also operations. I think this is a very key fact, especially since the fashion industry is creating so much fashion waste every year. We have to be conscious leaders who can think of how to be eco-friendly and also very involved within the fashion movement to keep pushing for CSR, and also just to keep pushing for empathy towards the environment. So I think that as leaders, we have to be empathetic to the people, the environment, and also to ourselves, not to overstress ourselves to actually continue being good leaders within the fashion industry. For me, I'm very grateful for SFT's continuous support within giving me the space to have a lot of freedom and also just independence to really express my ideas and start different projects or initiatives by myself. So of course, the biggest example would be starting the first student association for SFT, where we were able to create the first O-Day for students. And I'm very happy that SFT gives us students a lot of especially in SFT, I say a lot of leniency and also freedom to create whatever like initiatives we want to, especially that given that O-Day was quite a successful initiative with over 50 students joining. So I think that SFT really gave me a lot of freedom when it came to different initiatives and projects to really kickstart different initiatives. And I'm really happy to say that our SFT O-Day was very successful in the end, because I always see different students walking around campus with their new friends from SFT O-Day. And I think that I'm very proud and also happy to see SFT supporting this sort of movements from students. I think also apart from this, just generally speaking, SFT has a lot of resources given to students, especially given when the fashion industry is so competitive here in Hong Kong or even internationally. Us students really need a lot of opportunities to find our footing and also network with different people from different walks of life in fashion. So take for example the different career fairs, seminars, competitions, scholarships. All of these opportunities are very much promoted and given to students by SFT. And I'm quite happy to have also received different scholarships and also join in different initiatives and events and also career fairs to really get to know how I can find my footing within the competitive fashion industry, and to really just think a bit more further as a future leader at SFT and also beyond. So I'm very happy to see SFT giving us students a lot of resources and opportunities whenever possible, and I can't wait to also join more in the future.